I did all this work with the framing of the guns, but the best way to do this is to not have them in frame.
True.
Hey guys, Brass Facts here. I just got off of a 2-day shoot with Leopold, where we were able to shoot a large number of different long-range guns at a probably the most comprehensive long-range shooting facility that I've ever been a part of. You've been to a lot, and this one was quite impressive.
It was like steel out to 1,400 meters at least, and I can't remember the number that they said. It was like 450 maybe, or 250, but it was hundreds of pieces of steel arrayed in this whole valley. So yeah, we had 5.56 GPRs, 5.56 SPR. Well,
yeah, Luke's
somewhat.
Luke's SPR.
6mm ARC, 6.5 Grendel, 6.5 Creedmoor, semi-autos and bolt action, apples to apples comparison of the performance in a lot of these different things. And I think we're going to end up with a bit of a bell curve where the lighter calibers excel in certain areas and the extremely heavy calibers excel in certain areas, and the intermediate, well, all right, 5.56 is an intermediate caliber, but in this conversation, I guess intermediate would be the 6mm is, and that's what we've been shooting a lot of.
Editing Brass Facts here for clarity with the dishwasher in the background. Nice. We did a lot of static shooting from the prone or a tripod all the way out to 1,400 meters. That doesn't need any explanation. I'd hope you know what that would look like. But we also reference a run and gun course throughout the video. It's a bit hard to describe, so here it is in visual form. Times have been normalized, and I'll post times of each caliber and weapon type throughout the video so you can do an apples to apples comparison.
Hey Hup, is this video sponsored by Blue Alpha?
It might, in fact, be.
Blue Alpha is your #1 source of
Battle belts, EDC belts, magazine pouches, dump pouches, and also their new medical pouch, side pole, top pole. I don't know what you're into, man. If I try to recommend something, somebody's gonna get mad because it's the wrong thing, but that's why they did both. I don't want this stuff too much.
Wow!
Wow, that's awful.
Yeah, so this is going to be a long video, so we might as well just go from the top. I think you have it on your side, the lightest, least capable configuration.
Yeah, this specific is the TAO2 crosshair, so it bottoms out at 600. You do have a very high level of familiarity with these setups.
Just 5.56.
Pretty similar for a long time. You got a lot of rounds through them. You know the optics and your zeros and your dopes pretty well, which makes for a pretty good comparison versus the stuff in the 6mm genre. A lot of the 5.56 guns had relatively low maximum magnification and also extremely light recoiling, because we have these things set up and tuned pretty good. Pretty much all the 5.56s that we shot, super soft. So you can absolutely see everything that's happening in your field of view. Also, lower magnification scopes. You're able to stay on target, see what's happening around the target. If you get splash, which, depending on the background, you may or may not. But that means you can just take follow-up shots really quickly. You can adjust.
The 5.56 guns were very unimpressive when we're proned out and shooting, pushing 1,000 meters. But on this run and gun course, at least for me on the 5.56 gun, I'm very good at muscling my gun down and vice gripping it. And I went on target. Target is, let's just say 400, 500 meters. Put it on the 500 meters, push it left, because all day we had a left to right wind, and just go ta 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 ta, and I see pa 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 pa. I see the splashes on target, and I'm just driving the gun and bringing the splash over the target area. And each target only requires 2 hits, but I'm going in this knowing I'm at a disadvantage, and each target's getting 5 to 10 rounds, but in under 2 seconds. So I think that kind of boils down to 2 strategies, right? When we did the long-range course with these different guns, there is the, accuracy through volume, essentially. Your holds. You're not just fishing for it, and then taking it, 1 shot, 1 hit, 2 hits to neutralize, and kind of really not using that many rounds. To really drive that home, Luke C. From TFB was running an SPR setup. His strategy was 1 shot, 1 hit. And you can tell it really hurts him on time. While I came in, I just vice clamped the gun and dumped 4 times more ammo, but had the fastest time.
Remember those 3 universes? Did you hear any hits there?
Nope. I got iPhone too. Impact. Impact.
Impact. Impact.
You can call these, I'm sure.
Not doing you.
Impact. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Yep. Okay, got it.
Clear. 190.
I have more ammo per magazine. I'm carrying more ammo. I can flex that ammo into time.
There's also a positive effect to getting rounds very close to a target. So that's always been my sort of outlook when it comes to BDCs. I really like a ranging BDC like in an ACOG, or the PLXC that I'm using is the Nova BDC version. And we tested it out. I zeroed at the distance they say to in the manual. I'm using the right barrel length. I'm using the right cartridge. And sure enough, the BDC was pretty much accurate. And I could get out to 600. And so it was like, okay, that's perfect. And like my first shot would barely miss, and then I would start correcting, and I'd walk it in as I figured out, you know, the wind hold. I was like, yeah, that to me for a fighting rifle is exactly what I'm looking for.
This gun recoils a lot.
That's called barrel whip. That's a problem. It can affect accuracy.
Barrel whip has been known to affect 1 in 5 men.
So next up, we kind of shot these guys right here. These are your sappers, your heavier guns. Both of these are shooting 6.5 Creedmoor. There was some precision 308 out there as well. So this kind of represents the other end of the spectrum, right? We're all in on, you know, oomph and the bullet to kind of shoot at extended ranges.
But these are, I think, yeah, certainly the easiest to make a one-shot hit with.
And obviously from a bolt gun perspective, you're just taking a huge time penalty. But I also ran this guy, and it's, yeah, compared to 5.56, you're not locking the gun down and quadruple drilling before the first round gets on target, but you don't need to, right?
Yeah, 5.56 was often a case of walking it in, figuring out the wind, but I feel like the misses with these were so minor that it was almost trivial to connect for that, or, you know, to correct for that second round hit. Yeah, 5.56, you might be like, I could tell that one was this amount low and some amount right, and so then you hold a little higher and a little more to the left, and then you're like, okay, now I can tell that the elevation was good, but it's still too right. And then you adjust again, and then the wind picks up, and then it's in the same exact place even though you held further, and you're like, okay, now I need more, and then you get that hit 4th, 5th round, or whatever. But on this one, you'd probably do that faster.
Impact. You got it.
What were your thoughts on these two and the Q-Fix specifically when you were doing the more precision stuff, kind of just in-placed, shooting it out to distance?
There was some difference in the optics we were using, but I don't think that's would account for it 100%. But you can feel when 5.56 starts to top out, and these, you don't feel it as much until much, much later. So yeah, when you know, again, some of it's the optics we were using, but beyond 600, the 5.56 guns, you're like, okay, this is becoming borderline. These, you know, to 600 to 800, you're like, yeah, it's the same as the 600, basically. Yeah. I'm dialing a little more, I'm holding a little bit more, but like it feels very similar.
There's also a decent amount of energy on target, right? 5.56 sounds fucking pathetic. These things, you know, they're hitting the target.
Yeah, these make a glorious gong when they connect. As does my favorite caliber, the one that I brought.
Okay, let's talk about the feels-based marksmanship. Where's that gun at?
It's my truck.
Go get it.
Yote. So yeah, I brought out my 6.5 Grendel DMR. This is the only caliber that matters because it's the caliber that PSA likes the most. But
don't let Focus Strip hear you say that.
6.5 Grendel's gimmick is like, hey, what if we make something that has the same trajectory and similar energy retention as 308, but in a smaller frame and a lighter bullet. I think of this as a replacement for 308 because this definitely doesn't shoot as soft as something like 6 ARC or 5.56. It doesn't have the same long range potential and high energy as 6.5 Creedmoor, but it's pretty damn good. And the ammunition is like weirdly affordable because some European countries just like 6.5 Grendel weirdly. And Palmetto State Armory really likes 6.5 Grendel weirdly. So this is what I have now. I don't really have an AR-10 setup anymore. I don't have a DMR setup anymore. I have a 6.5 Grendel setup.
I think we need to talk about vibes-based dope charts.
So this is the problem. I have taped to my stock a dope chart. A lot of people do. The problem is that mine goes from 400 to 1,000, and half of all those intermediate marks say ish.
For 900, or no, for 1,000, yeah. And if I want to go to 1,100, my guess would be
Sweet Jesus, no.
we added 8. So what if we added?
Actually, we're out of paper, so we have to stop at 1,000.
Thank God.
And I think that's where 6.5 Grendel still falls a little bit short, is that it just doesn't have the support. So if you're shooting something really, really legit and high-end like Hornady Black or Hornady Custom or whatever, you can get complete ballistic data package for it. All of the European stuff that I've been able to shoot, Nemo, PPU, whatever, I can't get BC for it. I can get a lot of guys on ARFCOM who will guess what the BC is based on their like head math.
Yeah, and apparently we tried some of that.
I've tried a couple of them, last
and
couple
it's
shoots we've done.
completely fucking off.
They're not quite right. And then I got some AAC 123 grain OTM. Very affordable, cheaper than 308, and cheaper than 308 ball. It's a match load cheaper than 308 ball. It's been very accurate, very consistent, good load. For some reason, they refuse to publish BC data for it, so I can't drop a proper dope chart. So instead, we just shot it out to distance, dialed it by hand with a spotter, and then wrote down the ish numbers that we kind of pulled off of it, and we used that. And it was good out to 1,000. It's not nearly as good as the guns that are like really perfectly tuned. If the end result of this means I have to buy Hornady Black at $2 a shot,
That's kind of
then I'm kind of not interested anymore, because that's 6.5 Creedmoor prices, and they shoot pretty similar. This shoots a lot closer to 308 than it does to 5.56. I still like it. I like the name, certainly. Grendel's a cool name.
I forgot to bring it. That's fine.
The new kid on the block is 6 ARC, and it seems like it's probably going to stay.
Yeah, so we shot a lot of 6 ARC. Between 5 people, we shot 1,600 rounds of ELDM match.
We're going to have to nail down reliability going forward, because again, it's a relatively new platform, and it doesn't, like 6.5 Grendel, it kind of doesn't want to be going through an AR, which is why there's all those new lowers and the new magazine standard, and that could be a real game changer for 6 ARC.
Yeah.
In terms of the performance of the cartridge, it feels like shooting hot loaded 5.56 when you get spicy
hot.
77 grainers, you know, and you're like, oh, this is pretty stout. You notice. So we were shooting there's a 12.5, there's this a 14.5, 14.5, an 18, and there was even a 20-inch, like a DMR one.
So we shot all the different types.
We shot every barrel length you could conceivably want out of.
And then some that you probably don't want. Yeah.
And yeah, even 20 inches, which.
Yeah, it's a bit much, yeah. So I think maybe tying it back to the start of the video, right? With 5.56, the strategy, if you really wanted to excel time-based, was to lock the gun in and really utilize your ammo budget. With 6.5 Creedmoor, the gun is recoiling a little too much for that, and you also just don't have the ammo budget to do that, right?
So I kind of begin to ramble here, and then we get distracted by dog. Yeah, there's a whole story about how we adopted a dog for 8.5 hours. Check it out on Substar.
Wait, that's a fucking dog.
But basically, all I'm saying here is that 6 ARC is a really nice hybrid between 5.56 and 6.5 Creedmoor. The gun itself is a 5.56 style platform, and it somewhat imitates the recoil, as we said, so it's just soft enough shooting that we can stay scoped in, not just in the prone or with a tripod, but during awkward shooting positions and that running gun, as you saw, allowing us to act as our own spotter and to also utilize follow-up shots on movers and misses. It also has the ammo budget that's roughly on par with 5.56, allowing us to hammer out decent volume on target. But, and the cherry on top, the round itself behaves really similar to 6.5 Creedmoor in flight, allowing us to sort of just dead reckoning hits all the way out to 500 yards and more due to its very flat profile. And out further, well, the round, because it's not dropping nearly as much as 5.56, bad range calls or bad range estimations are not nearly as detrimental. If we look at time, we can see a clear, noticeable increase in performance, mostly derived from the 800-yard target, but also just a consistency up close with less rounds expended. The times would be even better in my opinion, as everyone shot the 6-arc style guns first and then moved on to 5.56, which made people more familiar with the course. I've tried to normalize it, but there's only so much I can do. The only real outlier here is the ACOG's 5.56 performance, but to be frank, this was almost an idyllic range where splashes and misses were very easy to see, even with a 4X at those extended ranges. Had that not been true, had there been more wind, had the max engagement range been maybe 200, 100 yards further, you name it, and I suspect the 5.56 performance would have taken a massive step back.
Terminal ballistics, obviously it's not going to be 6.5 Creed. There's way less bullet. Again, vibes based, going off some ish here. Hearing 6-arc hit steel versus hearing 6.5 Grendel hit steel, you're like, oh yeah, there is a difference. The 6-arc is turning into 5.56 at a certain distance, or just like
No, yeah, it sounds exactly, yeah.
And
you
6.5
need a
Grendel.
spotter to kind of help you on a run and gun frantic course.
those immaculate 6.5 Grendel vibes that when that 123 grain projectile hits the target, you hear a gong sound, just like God and Caldwell targets intended. In my opinion, is that all of these like cartridges, all the fancy technology that we can do, it's very hard to make something that's straight up better than any other cartridge that was designed recently. So like, it's not hard to outperform 308 because it's ancient.
It's the Mario or the Mario Kart,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where you pick the different characters
You got
and
your
stats.
two, yeah, you got your two things.
And I think there are certain combinations that are more desirable. Like 5.56 is all in on control, and it creates a a platform that has stood the test of time.
Toad. Who's the 3-3? Is it Peach? No, it's Mario. Mario's the 3.
Mario's the 3.3.
Mario's the 3-3, and that one's going to be
6-arc probably.
perhaps.
It's like a Mario with a little more speed.
Yeah. This analogy will only get us so far because it's fucking Mario Kart, obviously. But yeah, I mean, these things all exist. In my mind, they exist on a continuum, where 6.5 Grendel is harder to shoot than 6-arc, but it should do more damage when it gets there. 6.5 Creedmoor, harder still, more damage still. 6-arc less.
Today, it was very obvious when someone showed up with a dope chart that they were familiar with and knew how to utilize the cartridge effectively versus ineffectively.
Yeah, familiarity with the platform. Like, you have that bolt gun that you have, I mean, you've reviewed it. Like, you've made multiple videos about that. You are very, very familiar with that. Versus the Q-Fix, where we tossed the scope on, zeroed it, chronoed it. All that happened in one morning.
You're also flinching like a little bitch
It doesn't shoot great because the cherry bomb is a vibes-based compensator more than anything else. Yes.
Almost no time on 6-arc. And it was nuts.
Feels like shooting 5.56, and it's through the AR platform, which like the back of your own foreskin at this point, assuming you still have one. So I don't think you can be a virgin to a very slightly different caliber in a platform that you are pretty adept with. So,
except the magazine when
And
you
maybe
pull
the
out
reliability.
the 30-round magazine and you can't get the gun behind cover.
yeah, the 2-foot-tall Geisley sticks.
Oh, baby!
The big stick's coming out.
Impact! Impact!
Yep.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. All right, how do we wrap this bitch up?
That was it.
That was it? That's how we wrap it out? Thanks, Bill. All right. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you for making me spend $80.
$85.
Wow.
Go nut.
Impact. Impact. Right in the head.
Oh, over.
Yeah. Impact.
Yeah, nice. Nice little group too.
Yeah. That was a really good group.
It's like this tall.
That's Hop. Kill. Execute. Kill. Kill. That's your boyfriend, Nova. That's your boyfriend.